Joe, yo, bro, your background, you look beautiful right now, brother. Right? Is it just me or G? Are you serious, right? Like
It's the light. I finally got a light.
this guy, man. When we first started doing this, I was the king here. You guys are making me look bad. I look all pale and washed out. You guys are killing it. All right,
Oh
I'm
no, I
sorry.
got some sun too. So, um,
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome once again. Three Corners of Horror. I am Ricky Grimes, chilling back here with my two brothers, the triple threat. We are back. What's up, fellas? I'm gonna start with JR. How are you, man?
Hey man, back from vacation and to do with found footage horror, which
Right
you
up
know
your
how I
alley,
am with those
right?
movies.
Right up your alley. What up, Joe? How you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. We missed you last week, JR, but glad we're all back together again.
Yeah, before going on the air, I was just mentioning it's been a minute since us three really sat down for this, but awesome. Yes, we are here. Thank you for tuning in. Before we continue, please like the video. It'll really go a long way. We would highly, really appreciate that. And with that being said, it ain't time to stay scared, but we are going to talk about the Netflix original film, Incantation, streaming on Netflix, like I said, directed by Kevin Ko. This is a film that came out with zero hype. It just came out of nowhere, but once it was out, it's all people were talking about. I'm gonna throw it to my man Joe because I know JR, I'm gonna save you for last because I know you're the found footage guy, but Joe, I'm more curious about. Joe, let me ask you this, man. Where would you place this film as far as found footage? Because this film is considered found footage. Where would you place this amongst like the pantheon of found footage films that's out in the ether out there?
Well, I found the movie to be actually a little bit average, so I would probably put it in the middle with all the other found footage. It's definitely, it had some good scares, not good, decent scares in it. It wasn't bad, it wasn't great, more the middle of the pack.
Okay.
But I think I did read it was either Taiwan's highest grossing movie or highest grossing horror movie. I know it has the it's one of those two basically. But why?
I was gonna ask you too, Joe. Where we at, Joe? Where we at? Yeah, it's Taiwan. We're in Taiwan today. We're not in Canada, as you can see.
No, not Canada. We're in Taiwan.
What up, JR? So, how about you, JR? I mean, this one here, yeah, I'm curious too because you're a big found footage fan. So, where would you place this on your list?
And I'll be honest, I don't think it cracks my top 10. It's probably the next tier after.
Yeah.
It wasn't found footage, but I'll mention this in the next portion. But the beginning of it did a good job of real grabbing and hooking you right in. I mean, for found footage, I thought that was a very creative, original way kind of to start a film. So for me, I think I give it kudos on that. But I mean, I'll be honest, when I started watching it, we talked about this earlier. I wasn't reciting the words. I'm not. I looked at some of the pictures. I'm like, all right, now
So
I'm not gonna say.
you're not gonna
I'm not gonna do the
No.
gang signs. Nah, but for me, like I said, it felt kind of refreshing in a way. But for me, it didn't crack the top 10. I mean, it's a we'll get into it, but it is a watch. You should watch it.
Yeah, I agree. It's not in my top 10 either. Not a terrible film. I think because it's so new, I think the hype really has it out there. So we're gonna have to take a wait and see approach and on like how well it ages. But as of right now, yeah, it was all right. I think as far as found footage, I like the more raw found footage films.
yeah.
Grave Encounters, Blair Witch, the original Hell House LLC, especially other tons of like what was the one where you were Ganjam, for example? That's another
Yeah.
international film. So there's a lot of films that keeps it raw, and I want the rawness. I want once something gets too clean, that's the kind of problem I have with Paranormal Activity, the last one we did,
Yeah.
where they took too many liberties with the camera angles and special effects, sound effects, all that stuff. Once you add all those elements into this film, to me, it takes it out of the found footage because now it's just a very expensive film made to look like found footage, not the other way around, which I don't think it should be. Not That's not to say it was a bad film though. I'm just saying the style, the particular style it went for.
Well, and the beginning sequence was a really good sequence.
It was.
And
yes.
then you're like, where's the rest of?
Yeah, dude.
You have something comparable to this throughout your
Yeah.
movie? Like, did you like drop your load right in the beginning, and that was it? Like, that's it. You know, like that was the one thing I hated.
I
the
agree.
best part of it was right in the beginning, and then from there it just kind of went flat.
All my favorite parts are right in the beginning. And in fact, I was talking to JR off camera beforehand, and I was telling just he joked about it, but I was serious. Like when they were explaining, especially it comes full circle at the end, but I'm not reciting shit. You know, I'm the kind of guy when I first saw The Ring and they played the video cassette in the VCR, I looked away. I ain't looking at this movie or not. I'm not getting anywhere near any of this bullshit. But yeah, so yeah, that's how I felt it. But JR, let me ask you, man. Like we talked about this film as far as the found footage aspect, but anything jumped out at you as far as being like your favorite moment in the film? Let's just jump right into it, man. Favorite moment in this film, because we're not dissecting it. If you're watching this, there's gonna be spoilers, of course, and we're not gonna explain to you scene by scene. You already saw it. We're not wasting your time. So, what's your favorite moment, man?
I mean, right off the bat, the opening sequence.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that she's narrating to her daughter about, so you get some kind of connection between mother and daughter, which at times I felt it was powerful in the film. At the times I felt like they let go certain moments that could have helped it even better. Like I prolonged that story aspect because we won't explain it, but she was a terrible mom after a while. But like the opening sequence, I like the fact that she's talking about her child and stuff.
Yeah,
and then it goes into the scene where assuming that was her in the car because they didn't really explain it when she was younger.
She was in the back seat. That's how
she was in the back seat.
Yeah, with her parents arguing about the master, and then you have the car accident, and when the car flips up, then you see the dad walking in the road, and
boom!
I mean, damn! And then one of the cool sequences was when they showed the scene in the police department where
when they saw the
bring
video,
in the footage, and they look at the footage, and next thing you know, the one dude standing on top of the table just.
That's why I ain't looking at that shit.
But I thought that was a good sequence. I kind of liked the character somewhat of what was his name, Runan, which is the main woman, and like I would say, just to add this. I know we were supposed to pick one scene, but the second scene I kind of like this one. They could get home, and I'm assuming that was special services that was coming and checking out the house that spoke about the Buddha upstairs. But I like that sequence when she took the camera, the little girl went up the steps talking to the baddie, and then I know Rick hated this part where she goes on the ledge and she just jumps. I was sitting there like, oh, really?
Yeah.
And then she crawls back on. You're like, what the hell happened? But I thought that was a cool sequence. This movie could have had more moments, and I feel like for me, those are the best two.
Well, that's the thing with this film. It has moments, but the thing is, again, going for found footage, it was too elaborate with the camera angles and like the cinematic style of shooting, and the fact that Ronan, right? I think Ronan, Lee Ronan, the main character. I apologize if I'm getting her name wrong, but she always kept telling people why she's filming, and it's like, I want this so when you get older you can see this. Like, a found footage, and you got to keep hammering that over and over to every single person you meet and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just lazy, man. But I'm digressing. Joe, bro, your background, you look beautiful right now, bro. Is it just me or are you see this, right? Like,
it's the light. I finally got a light.
This guy, when we first started doing this, I was the king here. You guys are making me look bad. I look all pale and washed out. You guys are killing it.
Oh no, I got some sun too. So mine actually. And here's the thing: it's something I saw before. However, I still ended up liking it. But mine was when they're in the tunnel. And you see the hands come through the wall, and as the guy's trying to get away, the wall, everything's collapsing on him, and the hands just coming through. It's reminiscent of VHS. They did it in one of their segments, the haunted house, which was one of my favorite segments in that. But yeah, that was my favorite scene. I mean, again, because just what happens in there repeats over and over again throughout the whole movie. With another part I didn't like, but I liked the special effects in that scene, especially like I said, just the hands coming out would freak me the fuck out if I was in a tunnel and hands just started coming out the wall like that. I mean, I'd be out. Yeah. So
the first time I seen that scene, all I thought was Grave Encounters. Grave Encounters did the
Yeah,
same thing when they were
they
locked in the
did that.
room. And they woke
Did you
up and
do
the
that?
hands were coming out. I was like, "Holy!"
What was it? Even God, we tracked Paranormal Activity. Was that the one where the hands are coming from the ceiling too? We did a movie here. I forgot. Maybe it wasn't that, but
No,
with
that
a
was
bunch
Hell
of
House. That was Hell House, I think.
was it Hell House? A bunch of hands just started
I
coming
think
out
it
of the
was
ceiling
Hell
and shit.
House. It
I
was
think
Hell
so,
House.
yeah.
I don't. I remember like being like, "Come on, this looks like, come on, what is this?" Like, but was it Hell House? Damn.
I think it was Hell House.
All right,
I
man.
gotta go back watching
I'm
it.
showing my age. Everything I watch, it bleeds together. That's why I can't watch too many things like over and over because I lose track. But
That's why you got to change it up.
you gotta change it up. You gotta
You
change
got to
it up.
change it up.
But yes, for me, I'm gonna say the same thing GR said. The opening sequence to this film, man, was fucking awesome. Um, the when the car accident happened, and that you mentioned that the father gets out, and the other car splats him. The cops, they watch the video, they off themselves like good stuff. It made me like, oh shit, this is gonna be one of those films that's gonna be like hard hitting in your face. But like Joe brought up, and this is my biggest concern. I'm gonna bring this up later, but actually I won't say it now. I'm gonna say it later. But yeah, that was my favorite scene. The opening was freaking amazing. I love the opening of this film, and the fact that when she was explaining was when she was talking
I
in the
love that.
beginning, and later on at the end of the film, it goes back to that. I'm like, okay, you lost me somewhere, but you that was pretty cool. I like how you brought it back full circle, and it makes sense. It wasn't just placed there for eye candy and violence. It actually made sense as far as the story. I'm looking at myself while I'm recording this, man. What's going on here, bro? I gotta be looking at y'all. I'm too pretty, I think, son. Least favorite moment, guys. We all got them. I know we all got them. Joe, every movie's got it, brother. What you hated about this film?
What I hated was the ending. Only because we got to the end and I wanted to see something totally different. And instead, what you saw was her wrap her head and start bashing her head. Her friend bashed his head when he was in the tunnel.
By the way,
Daddy,
when he did that, even I was like, come on. Every found footage film does this.
yeah. Well, and even, Dodo's daddy, same thing. After he finished putting the thing together, then starts bashing his head. So I wanted something different for the end. I didn't want you to repeat the head bashing. I guess maybe when the deity curses you, the way that you kill yourself is bashing your head. I mean, they didn't actually say that, did they?
Dodo's dad was Dom, right?
I
Yes.
don't know. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but was he? Who was Joe? You know all these weird diseases and shit. What's that phobia when you're afraid of holes and shit all over your face? What is that?
Oh, I didn't even know there was one of those.
Yeah, you know. All right, I know. Now, I digress. It's a phobia that you're afraid of just holes. Like, and all right,
Alexa, what's the phobia when you're afraid of holes?
it's with a T. Watch, you got it.
Here's something I found on answers.com. Trypophobia is a proposed phobia of irregular patterns or clusters of small holes or bumps.
Yeah, trypophobia.
I was right.
There you go. You got it. Thanks, Alexa.
Anyway, the guy when he showed up, he had a bunch of holes all over his face. It reminded me of that. I'm sorry. So good. I'm sorry.
But yeah, that was just it. Like they kept repeating the same. Basically everybody killed themselves by bashing their head in. So I wanted something different for the end. Instead of you made your lead basically the same thing, bash her head in.
Yeah.
Lazy.
JR, we reviewed a movie recently that had a character doing the same exact thing. What was it?
Oh, wasn't it the Spanish one?
Oh, it was
Terrified?
No, the one where the guy
no.
lived at the house next door.
Terrified.
That's
Terrified. Yeah,
That
Terrified.
his wife is
Sorry.
going back. If I would have preferred that, if they did that to her, that would have been a lot
No,
cooler.
no, but no, it wasn't. It was a movie, same thing. It was found footage, and it kept just smashing, boom, 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 boom. I'll remember later because I'm Ricky Grimes. So go ahead, GR, man. What's going on, man? What you hated about this film?
Honestly, the reveal. I thought the reveal wasn't what I anticipated at all. I was so hyped to find out what exactly is in the tunnel. And then when it's a freaking statue with a blindfold, basically, you take out the blindfold and it's like a mouth with a bunch of freaking teeth, and then it's it asks you, what's your name? I was like, really? This is what's in the tunnel? I mean, they should have had like a little girl or something, because you hear
That's
a kid.
the Forbidden Tunnel, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like that at all, because it is,
Well-
and this is where a lot of movies fail, is there's this big lead up to find out what exactly is
That's what she fucked up.
causing this, and you're like, this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just didn't like. I didn't
Yeah.
like that at all. I mean, you could have went so many different routes. Pick a freaking kid. It would have been awesome if it was her daughter in the tunnel, or somebody that
Well,
looks
because
like
her daughter, she had that one scene where she went into the room and the door shut. So
Yeah,
I was thinking it was leading that it was taking over the daughter.
Yeah, because she jumps
Yeah.
off the balcony, comes up. Obviously, she hit something and came back up. So
'Cause you
for me,
heard
I
it.
thought she died. Comes back up. You had the scene where, and this is another big miss in the film, and I thought it was a cool scene where they're playing hide and seek, and they go into the hallway, and the dad's like Dodo, and then there's the arms reaching out to her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had these moments where you could have fixed this a lot better, and then to have a freaking statue of the eye, man, it pissed me off. I was so mad. I was so pissed off because here you go, like you said before, you came full circle, and then this is the way you end the movie. And then to top it off, there's a scene where she goes to the hospital, she attacks the girl that has all the symbols. What exactly did she cut off of her?
I think she cut off the pattern for the symbols to put on her.
That's a lot of symbols because it was all over her body.
Well, it was probably repetitive, like the incantation maybe over and over. So she just needed a piece to be able to.
But that was so vague that you're like, why?
Right, that's what I
scene?
assumed. Only when you saw her go, like, took her shirt off and she's got the. I'm like, oh, okay, so she must, or she took her other ear. That was my other thought.
Yeah, it was just so vague. I'm saying, like, come on, man. I mean, this movie had massive potential, and I feel like there was just. And I read an article where they said that there was actually 30 more minutes on this film, and they cut it.
Thank God.
And they actually cut it.
Yeah, thank God. Actually, yeah.
And it's actually based on the true story. This is based off is a family of 6 who thought they were being possessed.
It is based on a true
and
story.
the oldest daughter died, and then I think they all got arrested.
Yep, they all got arrested. You're right. That's it. That's where the story ended.
That's based what this is based off of. But yeah, it's just the ending was like
Yeah.
the review was like that.
Good points all around. You guys always bring up counterpoints to me, and it makes me think like, damn, I didn't see it that way. But there's a lot of things I didn't like about the film. Not stuff that's gonna make me like trash it, but for one, and I'm saying now, Joe brought it up, the runtime. Holy shit!
It was 2 hours.
All right, I don't know what this weird infatuation is with having these horror movies always have to exceed like the 2-hour limit. I don't understand what that is. I don't get it. You guys mentioned it. You could cut out so much from this film and it makes it so much better. Like, I don't get why it is so long. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying every movie that's 2 hours or plus is bad. Cause I'm a big Quentin Tarantino fan. He has no movie under 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? But for horror films, I'm sorry. I repeat myself a lot when it comes to the subject, but the runtime is unforgiving in this film. It's really too long, and especially how JR mentioned it, the ending was flat, and that makes it even worse. JR, but you do realize what the Forbidden Tunnel, what was behind it, right?
Oh yeah, no.
Why they were going there. You know why the mirrors and all that shit, right?
Oh no, I understand why.
Okay, so all right,
yeah, they could have just did a lot better. See, all right,
you're right. They could have did it better.
When the girl was in the hospital, little girl, I'll tell you this: that little girl did an amazing job in this film. I thought she was for her age to act the way she acted. It reminded me of the kid from what was that? Oh my god, that the movie about the freaking
Howard the Duck.
No, not Howard the Duck. Oh. No, the one we did with Guillermo del Toro. What the hell was that?
Pan's Labyrinth.
The Wendigo. No, about the Wendigo.
Oh, we just saw it. Antlers.
I mean, her performance was as good as that.
No, she was fine.
Oh, because for me, I thought she was one of the best things in the whole movie. But you have to see when she's in the hospital, she walks out. At that point, I'm like, all right, she's gonna walk to the village.
Yeah,
because that's another part where all right, she's possessed, she's being led. Lead her to the village, and then you lead her to the freaking body of the other girl. I mean,
yeah,
it's just this movie just pissed me off.
Man, with GR, man. With that being said, take us home, man. What's your closing thoughts on Incantation?
All right, Incantation, a movie with tremendous potential. Now, I don't mind the runtime sometimes if the storyline is well driven to the point where you don't look at the runtime. That's amazing.
I mentioned that on the Night House. The Night House was 2 hours, or at least close to 2 hours, but it didn't feel like it, and that is where that film succeeds, and this one to me kind of drops the ball.
Yeah, in that level, and then to top it off, I don't mind. See, when you do found footage, if you're gonna basically base it on a camera, don't put no dash cams and stuff like that. Now you're going a little bit over the top.
The drones, what Joe hates when they put drones in found footage.
No, yeah, you had the moment she's in the back seat.
It's too much. It's too much.
She's in the back seat. Her mom leaves her. Dad comes. All of a sudden, who's holding the camera when Dad comes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's there. Trust me.
Yeah, but it's just too many. Like
Mm-hmm.
you could have cut that out so much. Like I said, a lot of potential. Had some good scenes. Could have been better. I don't know what happened midway through it, and then top it off one more. They kept going back and forth to the point where they even stopped putting 6 years ago.
I can't, dude.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god!
I started getting confused.
How are you gonna do that with a found footage film? Like, how is that?
At one point, I thought it was her sister or something in the village because I totally lost track of who was in the village anymore.
Yeah,
and then they stopped doing it 6 years ago. 6 years ago, but for me, I'll give it a 3.5. I mean, it does have some good things in it. It's not like overly bad, but I mean, it just could have been a lot better.
Yeah, average. Joey, my boy Joe, come on, son, take us home, kid.
Well, as I said, it wasn't just average; it was just eh.
Yeah.
I was bored a lot through this movie. I know that Blair Witch Paranormal has like its little boring moments, but even in the little boring moments, they actually added to it. We all griping about the same thing. I kept pausing it to find out how much fucking longer I gotta go.
Yeah,
like
now
how much longer?
Feel my pain.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, I'm hungry. I'm like, and honestly, I went, fuck it. I paused it. I went to McDonald's, came back, ate. I hit play, and I'm like, 30 minutes. I still got 30 more minutes. I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here at this point. Like, let's just be over it.
And what happened in those 30 minutes? Probably a lot of the same stuff that kept happening.
Shit. Like, I'm like, let's go.
That's the problem. This is bro.
Yeah. So the beginning part was the best part of it all. The movie just fell flat. I'm giving it a 2.5.
Yeah. This movie would have been so much better, in my opinion, if it was not a found footage film. If they kept it traditional, I don't think this movie had to be found footage. Why? What was every found footage film? There's always some kind of thing in the beginning, a story, kind of a lot, bringing us, the viewer, up to speed as to what's going down and these real world events within the narrative of the film. And there's always a film that's found to kind of tell us that story and to bridge everything together. Here, there's none of that. It just starts. Why is it found footage? I don't understand it. It's too nice looking. The cinematography was great, and that's a problem. When it's found footage shouldn't have great cinematography. It shouldn't, and it shouldn't. This should not have been a found footage film. It would have been much better without it, and with a good 20 minutes shaved off of the runtime.
Yeah,
that for me, I'm gonna give this film a 2.5 as well. Average across the board. It's not bad. I'm not telling people not to watch it, because a lot of people do like this film, and rightfully so, because there's some good shit in it. But let's be real. If we're reviewing it and it's supposed to be a found footage film, and the runtime is over 2 hours close, that there's problems within that structure that takes it away from what it's supposed to be and then what it really is. I don't know. That's just my take on it. So I'm going to give it a 2.5.
Make sure you guys join us on August 11th, where we're going to do another live stream here on Horror Fiend TV on YouTube, where we're going to discuss the state of horror in 2022.
Where will this film land on that podcast?
Are we putting it on there?
No, hell no. Some people do like the movie. We're trying to bring them in, but we don't got to talk about it.
It's called shade. It's called shade.
But yeah, Gia, what's the date again?
August 11th.
August 11th.
At 8 o'clock p.m.
So 8 p.m. August 11th. YouTube, Horror Fiend TV. If you're not following us on social media, follow us on Instagram. All three of us are on Twitter as well. We're going to be blasting this all over social media. So if you want to join in, ask us questions. You can ask me, Ricky Grimes. You guys, JR, you can ask Joe, talk to us. This is where you interact with the show. See you then. Now, with that being said, my name is Ricky Grimes. We got my man JR. Look at this guy. He's all caffeined up over there.
I am. I'm not
my
even
boy
finished.
Joe. What up, son? Yo.
What's up?
But boy Joe, remember, we also got future projects on the way from all three of us. My Horror Fiend Driving Theater is wrapping up, but we got great content from Joe and JR coming up. I'm going to be there as well, all over the place. Thank you for always representing Horror Fiend TV, supporting us all the way through. We highly appreciate that. Thank you. And with that being said, stay scared.